and welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Emily and I am the maker behind Magnus May Crochet. In today's video, we are going to be doing a huge yarn haul from Premier Yarns to restock some of the yarn we need for our upcoming market. I will also catch you all up on where we're at in our market prepping, which, spoiler alert, is not nearly as far as we should be, considering this market is November 1st. We will also be taking a journey to Michael's and crocheting in adorable, if I do say so myself, brown owl together. Before we begin though, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the links in the description below. And with that said, let's unbox some yarn together. Hello. We are on the floor today. Don't mind that. There is a reason, which I will reveal shortly. But hi, how are you? I feel like it's been like a hot sec since I've actually talked to all of you, which is largely because that last market in September just took so much out of me. I have been so tired the past few weeks. It is about 2.5 weeks since that September market that we were preparing for and that we recapped last week. And I have been seriously slacking a little bit in preparing for my next market, which is in November. I definitely need to start getting much more serious about prepping for my next market. But I don't want you to think that I've been completely slacking off. I have slowly been doing a little bit of market prepping over the past 2 weeks, just not nearly as much as I should have been doing. Since I was doing all of that without filming for all of you, let me catch you up to where we're at right now. We have made 2 orca whales so far. Let me put one down so I can give you a much more of a closer look. So they have like blue sparkly eyes, and then obviously the rest of them looks like an orca traditionally does. I am also close to having 2 blue whales done, and I do indeed have all of the dorsal fins and flukes and bellies made for these 2 blue whales, but I just haven't assembled them all together yet. And don't ask me why, but I started on our second whale body, got halfway through, and then switched to turtles. I know there's a reason that I did that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. So we just have one basically done blue whale and then one half done blue whale. Like I said, we have switched over to working on turtles, and we've been making some good progress there. We've gotten a couple of them fully completed, and we have a few in progress. Just to kind of refresh everyone or to update our new crochet friends, I typically bring 5 regular turtles to my markets and 4 sort of blossom flower turtles. At this past September market, we sold 3 of our regular turtles and 2 of our flower turtles. So those are the turtles that we need to restock for November. And so far, we have completed 2 of our 3 regular turtles, and I'll show you them each individually. This is our orange turtle with his little orange and green tie-dye shell. And we completed our pink turtle. So all that's left in terms of the turtles that we need to restock is our green turtle. We still have our purple turtle and our peach turtle from last market. And in terms of our flower turtles that we need to restock, we need a purple flower turtle and a blue flower turtle. And we have completed our purple flower turtle. including our petals. For anyone who's been following along so far, we are not making the same mistake as last time. The powering through all our crocheting and sewing everything together later just got way too out of hand. Those sewing piles ended up overflowing, and I don't think it really saved me any time in the long run. So this time around, we're going to try and go back to how we were doing things last year, which was just completing each individual plushie in one go before moving on to the next one. In terms of our blue flower turtle, we have made a good amount of progress there as well. I have gotten all of the fins completed, and I'll just show you one because you won't be able to see them clearly if I show you them all at one time. So I have all the fins done, I have the tail done, I even did the shell ahead of time, even though I can't do the bottom shell yet, and that is because I started working on this turtle's head, but we ran out of yarn halfway through the head, so we haven't been able to finish the head or the bottom half of this turtle shell. So probably expect a trip to Michael's at some point, because that is where I get this blue blossom yarn from. But that's pretty much all that we have gotten done over the past 2.5 weeks, which is really bad because I normally get a lot more done during that amount of time. And it's really bad because today is October 1st, so we are officially 1 month away exactly from our upcoming market. The time crunch is real. We need to get very serious about market prepping ASAP. And what better way to get started on a new month of market prepping than a yarn haul? You can't see this box, but it is from Premier Yarns. And shout out to Premier for conveniently delivering this new order of yarn on October 1st. Now that you've seen the box, I'm going to slightly move it out of frame because this is not really going to work for actually showing you what we ordered, which I did not think was this much. I was really not expecting to get the text from my apartment building that I had an oversized package that wouldn't fit in like the mailroom boxes. I thought that I was much more restrained in the amount of yarn that I was ordering and that I was keeping it purely to what I needed to restock, but clearly we did not do that because we have managed to acquire yet another ginormous box from Premier Yarns. So here is our little haul. Let's see what we got because I have already forgotten. Okay, so like I said, we have some turtles to restock. This is not one of them though. What is this for? Okay, well I don't quite remember what this is for yet. I'm gonna have to look at my list. But it is one of our Premier Basic chenille tie-dyes. Is it focusing? I don't think so. There we go. And this is the color Kaleidoscope, which I use for the shells of the purple turtles. But we still have a purple turtle, so I'm going to have to refresh myself on what this is actually for. Okay, so I remember what it is. I don't know if we're actually going to get these plushies done for the November market. This is kind of in my ideal market plan, but they were also in my ideal September market plan, and we all know how that went. But I do want to try and make some dinosaur plushies, and I already had yarn to make a couple different kinds of dinos, but I didn't have any yarn to make stegosauruses. And so this is supposed to be potentially the spikes, but we shall see if that stegosaurus gets made for this market or if it's a future project down the line. And that is what this next yarn is also for. This is, again, Premier Basic Chenille Tie-Dye. This time in Tropic Twist, which normally is used for the shell of the orange turtles that you just saw. But I bought this particular skein to serve as spikes on a second Stegosaurus. Potentially. Alright, and I'm really excited about this next one because this is a new line from Premier Yarns. This is the Parfait, oh my gosh. This is the Parfait Plush line, which is new for Premier as far as I'm aware. I'm personally new to Premier in general, but I've heard this is a new line, and that is supposed to kind of be a like happy medium between Parfait Chunky, which while it says is a size 6, I would say is more of a size 5, and then certainly an in-between between the Parfait Chunky and the Parfait XL, but I think it's also in between Parfait Chunky and Premier Basics. So I'm really curious to try this out because I have been looking for a replacement to Sweet Snuggles Light and Chenille Home Slims for so long now. And I really like the Premier Basics line. I've really liked working with that for the turtles and a couple other plushies. But it is more like Bernat Blanket, and there are some things that I would rather have a more traditional chenille softness to. So I'm very excited to try out this new line. And I'm in dire need of white yarn in size 6, so in a hopeful anticipation of liking this new Parfait Plush line, I ended up just going straight for it and bought 3 whole skeins of white yarn. So hopefully we like it. It was between this and Michael's new sort of demi pearl line for restocking on white, and I just wasn't quite sure on the sizing of demi pearl. I haven't seen it in person yet. Not that I had seen this in person either, so I guess I really could have gone either way, but I was already placing the order to Premier and I didn't know when I'd be able to get to Michael's, so we just went for it, and hopefully we like it because we have 3 skeins worth of it. Also from Premier Plush, we got the color Cotton Candy, and I'm really happy with this particular skein and the spearmint one because I was a little nervous buying them. The reviews on the Parfait Plush line specifically called out the spearmint and the cotton candy as being poor quality, saying that it had like a film on it and it was more similar to kind of Sweet Snuggles Light right before it got discontinued. But I'm not noticing anything with these 2 particular skeins. They feel very soft. I'm not noticing any sort of film on them. They don't seem to be like shedding excessively. They don't seem to be like too hard almost. That probably isn't the right terminology, but it doesn't feel like the bad skeins of Sweet Snuggles Light. So I'm slightly optimistic that maybe those reviewers just got like a bad lot. I will definitely let you know and update you as I start working with these 2 particular colors, if they are indeed good quality or if there's maybe something about them that isn't quite up to par. And the reason I got Cotton Candy was I'm going to try and make strawberry turtles this time around. And I also would like to replace the gray and pink mini Anchor the Octopus that I had that sold at my September market. Next up, which is definitely an accident, I have 2 skeins of Parfait Plush in navy. And it's not a total accident because I did intend to buy navy. I want to make an anchor, either a large Anchor the Octopus or a mini Anchor the Octopus, using a sort of ocean color yarn that I have that's like a light dark blue and navy kind of swirl color. So I did intend to buy navy so that I could do kind of the bobble stitches on the anchor pattern, but I did not mean to buy 2 of them. So I must have been ordering 2 of a different skein of yarn and didn't realize the quantity was still stuck on 2 when I added the navy to the cart. But that's okay, because I will think of something to use it for, I'm sure. It will not go to waste. Yarn never does in my house. Bopping back to our stegosauruses, this is the main body color that I got for one of the stegosauruses. And so I have 2 skeins of bright violet in the basics line. And that is to match, ideally, this kaleidoscope tie-dye yarn for the spikes, and this would be the main body. And I just got 2 of the bright violet just to be on the safe side and not lose yarn chicken. And just rounding off the stegosauruses, we have the main body color for our second stegosaurus, which is Caribbean in the Premier Basics line, to match our Tropic Twist tie-dye yarn, which will be the spikes. If I didn't mention it earlier, the reason that we haven't finished our green regular size turtle restock is because we needed the yarn for it. So I had to order another skein of kiwi in the basics line to finish off that green turtle. So that will be probably next on our list of market prepping. I also got a skein of chenille basics, or basics chenille I should say, in the color Rust. And this is to serve as the shell color for some sunflower turtles. I already have sage yarn. I have some Bernat blanket sage yarn, and those pair really well with the basics line. So I didn't need to order any of the body color. I just needed a shell color. We also got a Parfait chunky skein in bright pink, which is looking very red on the camera, but I promise you it is like a hot pink color. And I'm actually really disappointed because this is not feeling like great quality. It feels, I don't even know how to describe it, but like it feels like the Sweet Snuggle, if you used Sweet Snuggles Light when it started to have issues, that's what this particular skein of Parfait Chunky feels like, which is a little disappointing, but everything else in the yarn haul so far has been of good quality, so hopefully it stays that way. This is for some flowers on a flower dragon that I may or may not restock for my next market. I'll put a picture of what it did look like up here, but this did sell at my first market. I really loved how it turned out. It took forever to make though, so I don't know if I'm gonna restock it. I kind of might leave it towards the end and see how much I get done and whether I actually have time to remake it. But if I do, this pink yarn is for the flower accent pieces. We have one more skein of Parfait Chunky, and this is good quality. This feels super soft and like normal, so far it's just the bright pink that's kind of crappy, but this is in the color Key Lime. And I don't 100% remember what this is for. I think it's for the stem of the strawberry turtles, but I can't remember if it's for anything else or not. It might just be for the stem on those turtles, but we shall see. As I market prep, if I come up with anything else that I can use key lime for, you'll be the first to know. Next, we have 3 skeins of Little Bunny, all in different colors for different reasons. We have 1 skein of Little Bunny in the color Mint. And this is another one that is to potentially restock another one of our larger plushies that sold in September. it was this flower plesiosaurus here. So I may or may not redo that again. It's probably going to be held off till later in the month to see if there's actually time to remake it. We also have Little Bunny in lilac and in azure. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's like their dark blue color. And I got these because I have a few pairs of glow-in-the-dark safety eyes, and I was thinking that those eyes would make really great bats, especially because it's like October, Halloween, so my mind was kind of there. I will probably use black or gray for the main bodies of those bats, but I thought it'd be cute to use Little Bunny for the wings. And I have a blue pair of glow-in-the-dark safety eyes and a purple pair. Alright, these next few skeins, or I should say these last few skeins, it's all we have left, were not something that I needed. I already have one skein of most of these, so I really didn't need any more, but I just love this yarn so much, and I have so many more ideas for what I can use it for. So I did add one of each color to the cart naturally, and that is the Parfait Chunky Fruits line. So this one right here is kiwi. We also got banana, dragon fruit, grape, blueberry, orange, and these last two are actually new for me. We have apple and watermelon. I really love this yarn. I think it's so pretty and it's really versatile. You can do like so much with it. I was using them and still plan to use some of these skeins for fruit snakes. They were big sellers at my market. If you watched my market recap video from last week, they were really popular, so I do intend to remake at least one fruit snake in each of these colors. But I did want to get more skeins because I was thinking like you can make like fruit cows, or there's so many animals you could turn into like fruits, which is just a big thing in the crochet community in general. But I thought it would be super cute to not only do that, but to use the fruit yarn to do it. So I did get one more of each skein, plus I got, like I said, the two new colors for me, which is watermelon and apple. And that is everything that we got from Premier. Our box is empty, our giant box. So for now, I think we're just gonna put all this yarn back in its Premier box, and maybe tomorrow we will reconvene, put all this yarn away, and kind of chat about our plans for this next market. Okay guys, it is like 2 days later and we have not put our yarn away and we have not gone to Michael's, but I promise we will do that in this vlog and I will take you along for the ride. But I'm going away for the weekend, and so I was just picking out the project that I want to bring with me, and I think I'm going to do another larger owl project because I really just want to bring one large project instead of a bunch of smaller projects, because that's just so much easier travel-wise. And I've had these orange, red, glow-in-the-dark painted safety eyes that I've wanted to make a sort of larger brown owl to match my large snowy owl. So I think I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I do have potentially the time now. I may regret that as we get closer to the fair and I'm rushing to do all of the smaller projects. But right now I'm super happy because look at how good these colors look together. I am literally so excited. I have had this yarn for a while that I've picked out to go with those safety eyes that I talked about. And I really didn't plan this well in advance, so I wasn't sure I would have any accent colors to go with. But I have like scraps of terracotta And then I just like ran down to my storage locker where I just packed up all my acrylic yarn, and I did have like a terracotta orange in acrylic. I was literally so excited about finding this in storage that I almost locked my phone in the storage locker, but luckily I did remember before that happened. But so far, since our yarn haul, that's really our only update in terms of market prepping. I haven't really gotten too much done. But like I said yesterday, we do need to get serious about market prepping. So after this weekend, and after we finish this kind of fun owl project, we are gonna buckle down and finally get prepping. Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday night, so I have just gotten back home from being away this weekend, and we almost have a completed owl. I just love how he's turning out. I'm very happy with the color selection that we have. I don't think you can see his body color yarn super well. It's like a yellow, gray, and red kind of variegated yarn. And oh, I saved the label 1 second. It is Bernat Baby Blanket Frosting in the color Golden Hour. And definitely check it out. I'm a big fan of the Bernat Blanket Frosting line. I did my Anchor the Octopus with this yarn, and I have now done an owl. And so definitely recommend. It's super cute, super soft, and the Golden Hour is going really well with this terracotta yarn. We actually would have finished our owl. We would have had time to finish him, but I forgot my safety eye jig at home, and I tried it with a wrench and failed miserably. And I failed even worse trying to get these painted safety eyes in by hand, particularly since there's an extra layer they have to go through because there's this acrylic kind of border around where the safety eyes are going in. So you have to go through 2 layers of yarn, which is already going to be difficult with the safety eye jig, even more so attempting to do it by hand. So we just got as far as we could and put it on pause until we got home. So we're gonna get these eyes secured right now. So this safety eye jig, there's a bunch of them out there, but this particular one is by Craft Easy Tools on Etsy, and I will link them in the description in case you want to pick yourself up one. I've only used this once so far, but it worked phenomenally well. I did not pick the right place in my house to show you guys this, but I wanted to be comfortable. So there's like a padded, you probably can't see it, but there's like a padded circle here that you put on the side of the actual safety eye to protect it so it's not having like hard plastic against it. And then you put this like hole through the kind of post part of the backing here. And I learned last time that you just really have to go for it when you're like holding it down. I was like really hesitant to like break the tool, but you really just have to like push it really hard. Okay, as you can see, the sweatshirt came off. I started overheating doing this, and I had to move to a hard surface, but we have gotten our left eye in. I don't know if it's the left or the right for you guys, but we've gotten it down 1 layer. That may be the best we can do because that was putting my full body weight on this bad boy on top of a hard surface. But I'm going to now try and get our other eye secure and then see if I can get them down any further. All right, that one was not as bad as the first one. So we are locked in. Our sinker eyes are secured. We got them a little bit further down. They're locked in. He's looking good. He just needs to have his head stuffed and closed up. And then we have 2 ears that will go on top, and I'm gonna put some acrylic fringe in there. And then I just gotta sew his tail on, and that's it. He will be all set and ready to go. So I think we're gonna finish him up tonight because I get a little time before I before I crash, and I will check in with all of you in the morning to show them off. So that actually didn't take that long, and I still had my tripod set up. So we have our brown owl. Look at how cute he is. I love the colors. I know I've said that to you guys 100 times in like the past 10 minutes, probably. For you guys anyway, it took longer than that. But I really just love the terracotta with this sort of golden hour burlap frosting yarn and the little frills on the ears. This came out so cute and so perfect, and I pulled out our snowy owl that didn't sell at our last market so that you can see both of our two sort of large owls that we will have going in to our November market. And you can also see kind of how this pattern allows you to do different variations. So as you can see, our snowy owl doesn't have ears and doesn't have the rings around their eyes. And I'll put one of them down so that there's room to show that you also can do them with sort of feathers going down their belly. So definitely 10 out of 10 recommend this pattern because it's just very versatile and you can make a lot of different kinds of owls, a lot of variety for your markets or if you're doing an online shop. And just like having fun, even if you don't own a crochet business, if you just want a pattern that you can kind of just have a lot of fun with and do different variations for yourself, for your family. I think this owl pattern is great, and I've so far made 3 and they've all been different. They've all been individuals. So I really love that about this pattern. So it is officially 2 days later than our last check-in. So we did not put our yarn away together as planned yesterday. I ended up having to work very late and wasn't able to film anything for you guys. But I did make you guys one other promise earlier in this video that I do want to make sure does come to fruition. So we are in the car, and you know what that means. It's Michael's time. So let's go. And we are back, and as you can see, we were surprisingly restrained in our purchases. We only have 1 bag of yarn, which is impressive because it was buy one 50% off, it was buy one get one 50% off, which is always really tempting to me to just buy an absurd amount of yarn. Not that I even need a sale to do that, but this time around, I actually managed to keep myself in check, and let's sit down and talk about it. All right, we have our haul, and I just realized you're kind of far away, so let me bring you closer and we'll get to that. So first and foremost, we did remember to get the yarn we actually went to Michael's for. I did not get distracted by other yarn and forget about this guy. But now that we have this, we can officially finish our final Blossom Turtle restock. Next up, we have a restock of flamingo yarn. If you've been following along, this is the yarn I use to make flamingos. And this is Sweet Snuggles Light in the color Ballet Slipper. And I don't actually have to restock flamingos for this market, but I am out of this yarn altogether. So while I was there and it was buy one, get one half off, I just picked it up to have on hand for future markets. On a similar note, I have in the past also used this particular color for flamingos, and this is also Sweet Snuggles Light in the color Perfect Pink. this because I have 2 flamingos still in my inventory in our ballet slipper color. But I have, like I said, made flamingos in this perfect pink color before, and they're super cute. So if I have time, I may work up 2 more flamingos in this color, just so that there's a little bit of variety for people to choose from. And last, but certainly not least, I did pick up a skein of the new Demi Pearl line to try out, and this one is in the color pink, this one is in the color Pink Lemonade. And I was really curious to see this yarn in person because I kind of thought that it was not a Sweet Snuggles Light replacement, because Sweet Snuggles Light is slowly coming back in stock. But I did think that it was kind of going to be similar. But it is in fact much more like blanket yarn. I would say this is the equivalent of Bernat blanket almost. And I grabbed this to make strawberry turtles. And I know what you're thinking. Didn't you say in your premiere yarn haul that you bought that light pink parfait plush yarn to make strawberry turtles out of? And you would be correct. That was my initial intention. However, I kind of forgot that the sage yarn I had in my stock was Bernat blanket, which I think is just not going to pair super well with the parfait line, which is much more of a chenille texture than a blanket yarn. So with Demi Pearl being kind of comparable, or seeming kind of comparable, to Bernat blanket, I picked up a pink skein to pair with my sage Bernat yarn to make a strawberry turtle. But that's all I got. I just got the 4 skeins. I usually get a lot more at Michael's. I was a hardcore Sweet Snuggles Light chenille home slim girly before they started having all of those issues. And now that it's starting to come back, I thought that I was probably going to end up coming home with a lot more yarn than I did. But even though there was a lot of Sweet Snuggles Light available at my Michael's, even more colors than I think I've seen come back in stock online. I really, unfortunately, I hate to say this because I've been waiting and waiting for that yarn to come back in stock, but at least the skeins that I saw at my Michael's still felt like the old poor quality. I didn't check every color or every skein that was available in the aisle, but all the ones that I picked up were still not super soft. They didn't seem like they were of a consistency that was going to be easy to work with. So I didn't bother grabbing any to try out. I think I'm gonna be a Premier girly for the time being, or even permanently, because I am really liking their yarn. But for now, it is 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, which means it is Dancing with the Stars time. So I'm going to go put our 4 new skeins of yarn in our ever-growing pile that needs to be put away and watch some dancing. So that's going to be all for today's video. We may not have gotten too much market prepping done, but we sure have acquired plenty of yarn to do so. November 1st isn't that far away though, so we definitely need to buckle down and get started, which means in next week's video, we will be getting started on our market prepping, and that will be the start of what will surely be a month-long marathon to get ready for November. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, so that you can join this little community that we're all building together here. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at the links in the description below, especially if you want to see some more content with our owl friend from this video. He got a cute little photo shoot in a tree outside of my apartment. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Your support means the world to me, and I will see you all in the next one.